Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is VOK, the voice of Kakuma, sponsored by SemaBOX Africa under Kakuma Sound, and I'm your host Miles. Na leo tuko na mgeni from RCK. Can you please introduce yourself?
Thank you so much, Kakuma Sound and team. My name is Lewis Mwangi. I'm a psychosocial officer, project officer working in the Refugee Consortium of Kenya, here in Kakuma.
Here in Kakuma?
Yes.
Okay, before you became a psychological counselor officer in Kakuma, what were you doing?
Thank you. That's a nice year that you can venture in. So initially I'm a clinical psychologist by profession. That's my profession. So I have a deep experience in clinical counseling, or in clinical psychology that involves maybe managing abnormal disorders or maybe mental disorders using evidence-based psychological techniques and then provision of with therapy, psychotherapy, or maybe individualized or tailored counseling session. So that's my initial role. So I've been working as a clinical psychologist in various hospitals, the likes of Chiromo Hospital Group, a renowned level 5 hospital. Also PC Kikuyu Hospital, also a renowned level 5 hospital, in the mental health department. Yes.
Okay. What inspired you to move from a high-end hospital to come and work as a psychological counselor at RCK here in Kakuma?
Oh, here in Kakuma. So in psychology, or rather in clinical psychology, we have various areas such as other various topics. Let's see, for the case of abnormal psychology, child therapy, adolescent therapy, family marital therapy. We also have other areas such as trauma and trauma-related interventions. So for this case, I was really drawn to assist or maybe to help individuals who have undergone through traumatic experiences or the crisis event. So refugee being one of them. So that really drew me to work in Kakuma as a psychologist or maybe as a psychosocial counselor.
Okay, what is one misunderstanding people think about refugees here in Kakuma?
Okay.
Or about refugees as well?
The misunderstanding.
Yeah.
So far, not personal, but what I have seen maybe is a misunderstanding that maybe a myth or a misconception that maybe refugees are they are significantly maybe not depressed, or they have maybe they specifically have traumatic experiences, but they also have other issues, so economic issues, family-related issues, grief issues, since considering that maybe from their country of origin they lost maybe their loved ones, and also maybe their residences. So they might have that misconception that refugees only have traumatic issues only, but they also have other issues, so economic factors, even medical needs. They also do have medical needs and other related factors.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay. Do refugees have rights here in Kakuma?
Yes, they have under the Refugee Act of Kenya. That's 2021, the Act. They have their rights and also their responsibilities, of which maybe for today not be better place to respond to them. Maybe I might invite my colleague, a legal officer, to better explain the rights of the refugees and also the responsibilities for the refugees.
Okay. Yeah. If a young person here in refugee faces abuse or injuries or anything, where do you think? Okay, where would you want them to report it, or where should they report it?
Okay. But maybe also to respond on that, the area of the refugee, the rights for the refugees. So they also have the responsibility to abide to the Constitution of Kenya, because that's the paramount guide for Kenyans, or maybe for anyone within our country. Yeah, so for the case of those maybe who have been injured, it depends with the level of the injuries, because sometimes some injuries might be either physical injuries, psychological injuries, social, maybe psychosocial kinds of injuries. So my response would be maybe for community members, I'm not sure if they have the psychological first aid skills or the techniques. Maybe if they do have, there would be good skills that they can employ, or maybe that they can utilize. This includes maybe stabilizing the person, removing them out of the danger situation, maybe the dangerous situation, and then taking them to a safe place, and then maybe connecting them with social assistance or maybe specialized assistance. For the case of maybe grievous or major injuries, or maybe severe injuries, again the hospital will come to assist. Even the community members can also assist later on to ensure that this person is well integrated with the community, depending on the kind of injury, either psychological, physical, or psychosocial kind of an injury.
Okay. What support does RCK give here in Kakuma?
Good. Okay. For this case, so the Refugee Consortium of Kenya main mandate is the provision of legal protection. So all the compositions of the legal that include legal aid, having one-on-one session, maybe a refugee, a host member, a asylum seeker, and then getting to know their issue, listening to their issue. That's one. Later on, maybe representation at the police station or at the court. Sometimes it's even advocacy. Advocating maybe to ensure that, let's say for instance, some policies maybe in Turkana county government will be inclusive for refugees. So again, RCK legal team will come to look at that role using the criteria, maybe the guidelines. After that, after the amendment, I will call them amendment, they ensure that the policy is also inclusive of the refugee. Like currently they are working on the ECDE policy with the Turkana county government to ensure that early childhood runners or education of the learners, the refugee children are also able to access equal education opportunities, as well as their counterparts, the host communities. Also, so that's in the case of the legal protection. We also have other areas of intervention that are mental health and psychosocial support, which aims on simply provision of psychosocial services such as individual counseling, having one-on-one session, group session, things like family session, to ensure that families are living in a cohesive manner. Also having cases such as, or maybe issues such as maybe dialogue forums, like the one that is currently happening over there. However, that is in collaboration with the PSJ, the Peace and Social Justice, here as part of our intervention, but also having dialogues on areas affecting the community members, also mental health related areas. So that's one. And also capacity building on various topics that are identified from the community members. So that's also another intervention that RCK does in the community. Also having another department or other peers such as the Peace and Social Justice, ensuring that there is greater coexistence and social cohesion between youth, refugees, or rather the members of the community. So that's also another area. And also looking at women and girls, and also the most vulnerable men. So all those are the interventions RCK does in the community. They are all free of charge, by the way. So no one should be paying something to access, or maybe cash or any form of payment to access any of those services.
Can refugee youth build careers through music, songs, art, and technology so far?
Yes, they can. Because you see now, for the case of technology, or maybe the equipment, for instance, the one that we're having here, they are accessible. So instead of maybe a person to be idling the community, or just maybe tutoring, maybe aimlessly, so they can get assistance maybe in the realization of their talent or abilities. Then they leverage on technology and the use of maybe such instrument to participate in art-related activities. Story writing, music, what else? Art, drawing, what else? Technology, yeah. We have free sources, actually. With access to internet, you have all the free sources that you can just even to learn more about even things such as digital marketing. If you have your own content, even your own content creation.
Okay, what is one message that you love to give those youths who are employed here in Kakuma right now?
They need not to get the feelings of hopelessness. That will be the very first message, because with the feelings of that hopelessness or maybe helplessness, usually leads them to using unhealthy ways of living. You see substance, fraudulent schemes, or maybe engaging into fraudulent schemes, or scamming other people, or maybe violence. So they need not to get or to experience the feelings of hopelessness. That's been my main message.
Okay, what kind of skills should youth here in Kakuma have right now in 2026? Which kind of skills do you think like every youth here in Kakuma should have?
So youth, either in Kakuma or whatever the part of the country, they need to have the technological skills, because from what is happening, or maybe in the look of the things, we are shifting into the world of technology. Even if you see, maybe right now we're using technology. So some people are not able to operate such technology. So for a certain youth, maybe for a young man, a 26-year-old man, take the camera, do some photography to maybe to a group of 2 lovers, then they get something, they get paid. Then you record something as skit, or maybe some photography, maybe to the nature environment. Then you do what? Then you advertise them or market them. At the end of the day, you might have some followers, or maybe you might be invited by other organizations as part of the graphic designer. So they need to embrace that, and also to they don't need to get the feeling of hopelessness. That is my main message.
That is your main message. Thank you very much. One thing is, why is peace building so important? So for one, maybe to say, or rather for us to live, peace is a key component, because we cannot thrive in conflict. Maybe few people can only thrive in areas that are full of conflict, or maybe violence. So we can only thrive in safe environment. So that's why peace is of key importance. Either being the refugee setting, the host setting, or maybe the combination of the refugees, as well as the host members. So peace is of key importance. For instance, if you have a business and people are always living in fear, they might not purchase. You might have to close your shop, because no one will come to buy your items. The fear of maybe if I get outside of the compound, I might get harmed. So peace is of key importance, even for people to live cohesively, have that social cohesion. They're able to maybe to integrate without any feelings of fear. So peace is of key importance. If you look maybe from early childhood, or maybe from an infant, maybe a preschooler, or maybe an adolescent, a teenager, a young adult. So for you to thrive, for you to go to school, because there is peace. For you to understand the topic on what maybe you are learning, for you to sleep again, you might need peace is of paramount. Okay, how can community and young people commit to make peace a very comprehensive thing to do? Like, how can they get together?
Okay. So maybe even the use of digital skills, or the digital asset, using your phone. what are you posting on the social media? What are you posting on your status? You have the WhatsApp status. We are living with different cultures in Kakuma. So see someone posting things that are a bit stigmatizing to, or maybe are directed or best to another community. So that would be not a good way for one to use. So using such tools, phones, there's very simple things that you do have here. You see, sometimes you may not have the capacity to organize for a football match, or maybe to have a caravan of people talking about the benefit of peace, or maybe to organize a conference, but maybe using your phone, you have a phone. So that might be a useful item, even through the use of art. So you can have an art that is illustrating that, maybe for the case of a youth, or maybe for the case of a young adult, war, and then people are crying, and then peace, people are happy. Those such artistic means. So those are also ways on which youth or individuals in the community can also embrace. Other ways, dialogues, having dialogues, or maybe barazas, to do what? To have ways on how they can resolve their simple conflict in their community. Sometimes also maybe if they have the capacity, they can also collaborate with maybe other organizations that are focusing more on peace building. So there are so many ways. Yes.
Yeah, there's so many ways. Okay, why should refugees talk about mental health so fast, and you talk about peace? And why should refugees talk about mental health?
Good. So we have to see, so for us to understand the need for refugees to talk about mental health, first of all we have to recognize that in the month of May, this is the month of the World Mental Health Awareness Month, where we do build awareness about mental health. So also individuals need to know about what is mental health. So we should say that mental health is that ability of an individual, let's say I as an individual, to do what? To recognize their own capabilities, be able to cope with normal life stressors, and also to recognize that that's a stressor, I can cope with that stressor. You see there are normal stressors of maybe like right now it's so hot, or maybe sometimes it's raining. So able to navigate through such stressors, also able to contribute positively into your community. So that's also another facet of mental health. Again, also able to form efficient and working relationship either with your maybe community members, or maybe with the family members. But sometimes we usually say that mental health is a form of a continuum. Another continuum. Sometimes you might find that you are feeling a bit low. Maybe other times you are feeling a bit okay, or maybe high. So you're able to realize as a youth, you're able to acknowledge that right now I'm feeling low. So what can I do to come out of this room? So what should I do and what should I not do? So for the case of a youth, so maybe when they have the roles, or maybe the stressful event, because again, maybe in a day, you're expecting for someone to come and then they fail to show up. So you might be feeling a bit frustrated. The other time you're able to, maybe you had a target of receiving this grade, or maybe getting this grade, then you're able to suffer. So you'll be feeling happy. So how are you able to control those intense feelings of sadness, or highness, or that happiness? So how are you able to control that? But for most of the time, you find that when everyone is maybe sad, or maybe they are experiencing a stressful event, they are doing what? They want to engage into ways that are not healthy. Using substance, sometimes they're not sleepy, or having negative thoughts. So but they can aim on going to do what? To have the positive areas of life, to check on the positive areas of life. So by doing that, maybe youth have embraced mental health.
Okay, how do you know someone has mental health problems? Like, What are the signs?
Okay. So it's so broad, but their signs maybe I might say they are categorized as per the problem. However, since we may not be able to identify that this person has depression, no, this has anxiety, no, this has something called schizophrenia, no, this one has substance use disorder. So there are some areas that we look at maybe with the main look of for mental health composition. We believe for that psychological composition, we should say we have the mind or the thoughts, behavior, and also emotions, or rather the mood. So by looking at either of that, so for the case of maybe behavior, you see behavior change. The person used to dress smartly, maybe they used to have well kept hairs, to dress well, or maybe to take care of their hygiene. But nowadays, they are not concerned. So that's also a marker. They were social. They'll come here, talk to you, hey, how are you? Mambo, vipi, nimemkaje, meaje, vipi bro. But nowadays, they no longer talk to anyone. Maybe they have isolated themselves. They are just quiet. Or maybe have that reduced wordings that is not normal. In normal instances, maybe whenever they are normal. Again, we look at other things. We call them vegetative functioning. Appetite. They might have high appetite or no appetite at all. They are not eating, or maybe they are overeating. Again, something else is also sleep. They are not sleeping. Maybe they are struggling to sleep. So that's also another area that we can look at. That's also part of a behavior, as though vegetative, or they oversleeping. So that's also another common thing. Something else is also concentration. So they are not paying attention at all. So like today when I was walking around the town, I would see people just walking out the road, they are not moving. We have to hoot for them so that they can move out of the way. So that makes sure that people are stressed. They are not able to concentrate, even in classroom, in their home, whenever they are doing the activities. Sometimes even in engaging in risky behaviors, excessive drinking of alcohol, substance use, risky sexual behaviors. That's also part of a mark of someone might be having a challenge, or maybe their mental health might be having an issue. So that's also another marker of, or maybe a symptom that you might observe. And maybe in severe cases, some individuals might start experiencing things like hallucinations. Maybe he must be seeing things that are not there, or maybe hearing things that are not. They are having that distorted perception of external objects. And maybe in the worst cases, suicidal ideations. You might hear them saying, "Oh, I want to die. Let me die. I have nothing to do in this world." So all those are some of the signs that maybe a community member can observe, and then maybe take action depending on the case.
Okay, Lewis, what is the hardest case you ever had on the mental health issues in Kakuma here?
In Kakuma, well, there are several cases, considering that these individuals might not have the required survival needs, or the basic needs, or maybe they are still living with the stressors. The environment itself is a stressor. So several, I would call them, there are several cases. Mostly traumatic issues, or a person coming with grave issues, maybe from the country of origin, let's say from Congo or from Sudan. And then still in Kenya, they're experiencing maybe associated issues, maybe to issues such as insecurity. And then that predisposes them to suicidal ideations. But the good thing is that with the other organization, the implementing organization in Kakuma, able to do what? Able to assist the such individuals. Yeah.
Okay, what would you advise someone who has mental sickness or mental pain so far? And what is the quickest way someone can deal with mental health issues?
So I would say these are, I don't want to be specific to that person, but maybe later on I'll be specific to that person. However, it's broad. The intervention to mental health is so broad because again, we don't know the exact cause for this disorder or maybe for this problem, but we have a combination of things or maybe factors that might require intervention from various dimensions. But one advice is for the person to ensure they embrace or they utilize the healthy coping strategies. You know, we have the healthy and also the unhealthy. So the use of the healthy ways maybe speaking up or speaking out, listing the issue they are facing to a trusted person, engaging in maybe physical exercises. They also have benefit because you may find that for many people with these disorders, they have low mood. So whenever you do something manual, maybe you're exercising, so your body releases some endorphins and then it boosts your serotonin. So you feel good at the end of the day, you feel relieved at the end of the day. So that's one. Also seeking specialized support, maybe from counselors, or that was the specific person that can lead them to using simple problem solving techniques. On the other hand, this person need to avoid unhealthy coping strategies, things like maybe isolation, overeating, oversleeping, undersleeping, use of what you are calling substances, because they are not going to solve the specific issue. And also something of importance is also to have social support. So that's why I'm saying it is broad. Also for the social support, maybe the family members also to be a bit supportive and not to, because most of the time they tend to stigmatize individuals with mental health issues. So they also need to learn ways to support this individual or rather to work with the individual.
Okay, what are simple ways that someone can manage stress, trauma, and mental health issues?
Okay. One of the simplest ways is what we usually call self-care.
Self-care.
It's not a heavy term or maybe what we usually call what do we call it? Or a costly thing. So doing things that you do enjoy, that's what we call self-care. But again, they must be healthy things. Sometimes you might be enjoying to smoke, but smoking is also not healthy. So ensuring that you are doing healthy things or things that you do enjoy to do to improve your well-being, and they must not be unhealthy things. For instance, exercising, going for a run, listening to music, watching a movie, talking to your friend or to your family member, dancing, taking part in a football match. All those are simple ways that an individual can use to do what? To improve on their mental health or their mental well-being.
Which kind of advice would you give to the youth of right there? Maybe he's isolating himself or he's isolating himself and he doesn't feel like visiting your area. You know, most men don't speak up.
For this case, there's a clear message that men need to speak up. That's a clear message that need to be passed. But also to speak up to the right person, because sometimes you might speak up to, or you might get vulnerable to let me call them the not right person. Then they end up destroying maybe your morale or worsening your issue. So men need to speak up, because again, if you see mostly for the case of suicide, high rates are recorded from the male gender. So they also need to seek for help, or rather seek help, either to the counselors or maybe to people who the social support, or a trustable person, someone who they can trust. So that will be a good that would be a good approach. They need to seek help.
Okay, someone who is right there who wants to visit you for man-to-man advice, or anyone who is mentally ill and wants to talk to you, where would they find you?
Maybe for the case of Kakuma, since I'm in this region, they can access me further as our services at the Refugee Consortium of Kenya. That's at Kakuma. Or maybe sometimes we also have community-based counselors offering specialized counseling services, or maybe even sometimes also accessing to counselors from any other implementing agencies. However, we have a toll-free number. I might share it later on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you everyone. That's all we had from Lewis. Today's topic was about refugee rights, opportunities, and mental health.
Oh, okay. I might have to read the toll-free number, so that at least people can also find us. And also, I have to read it through. It's 0800. I just confirm the final digits, so that the members of the community can also reach out to us.
Can they reach through the website?
Through the website, that might be a bit hard. However, we have the inquiries, the email through the website, so it may be forwarded to a specific individual by the receiver. So the toll-free number is 0800 720 262. Then once you receive on the end of the receiver, we shall receive this number in case we call you. Let me get your transfer. We have 0701 414 978. So that's what we're going to see, to receive, or rather to see on your end if we happen to call you. If you call us, we call you through that toll-free number. Yes.
Thank you very much for coming to the Voice of Kakuma. Here we tell real stories with real impact, and it's good to have you once again.
Thank you for the piece of the Voice of Kakuma, and also Kakuma South.
Yeah.